Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video I'd like to discuss the Health Secretary, Stephen Barclay, complaining that the timing of NHS strikes is designed for maximum exposure and impact against those they are striking against. After well over a year of public sector industrial action, you'd think the Tories would have learned what a strike is and how they work by now, wouldn't you? It appears not. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, please subscribe to the channel. So, doctors have been on strike this week. You'd hardly know because there's been a lot of other things filling up the news. It's a bit of a problem because the point of strikes, of course, is to be visible, particularly public sector strikes. So I thought I'd sort of commemorate it by having a look at what Stephen Barclay has been reported as saying. He's the Health Secretary. Now, to be fair, it's always big news when Stephen Barclay says anything because he hardly ever does any work. Apparently, he's spending most of the time in his constituency because he's probably going to lose his seat. So he's been complaining this week that NHS England strikes are being politically timed. Something that could only come as a surprise to someone completely ignorant about what a strike is. A strike, just to help the Health Secretary out here, is a last resort withdrawal of labour where an important industrial dispute is not seeing the sort of progress that workers would like to see. As such, it is the ultimate leverage over those over whom you wish to take your concerns seriously. In this case, there's a range of issues, but mostly the fact that the issue of pay has come to a head. 15 years of real terms pay cuts coinciding with raging inflation has left junior doctors on less pay than people working in a coffee shop. So you've decided to go on strike as a last resort to defend your paying conditions, right? What is the aim strategically? The aim is to make life uncomfortable for the decision makers who have thus far been ignoring your concerns. Now, with a private company, this is fairly straightforward. You withdraw your labour, their productivity goes down. That means their profits go down. They'll be seen as less reliable by their customers because they'll struggle to meet orders. So those business owners are motivated to come to an agreement before they lose too much money. This is why, despite scant coverage in the mainstream media, over the last couple of years, there have been some major wins for unions in the private sector, major boosts to pay. The problem comes with the public sector, where the same logic does not apply. If the public service suffers productivity loss as a result of the withdrawn labour, the ministers making decisions don't personally suffer financial loss. In fact, it is in the interests of many Conservative MPs to see the NHS suffer productivity loss so that they can push the idea of full privatisation. They have been making it as difficult as possible for the NHS to, for example, link up services to be efficient for many years now. So public sector strikes cannot work on the same basis of private sector strikes while the Tories are in town. The tactics simply do not work. So you have to hit ministers where it hurts, their political stock. So yes, the timing of strikes is an important fact of them. So when you get strikes timed to coincide with, I don't know, say the Conservative Party conference, that is because it's something they care about. That's how strikes work. The people engaging in strikes don't generally want to strike. After all, even if they were thinking selfishly they'd lose more money by doing so, they do it as a last resort. And because they don't want to strike, when they do so, they aim to strike for as short a period as they think will be needed to achieve their aims. They seek to be efficient with the strike. The Tories should be panicking at the fact that the NHS waiting list is like 500,000 patients longer than it was when Sunak said he'd reduce it. But they're not. In fact, so sanguine are the Tories about the ever-worsening waiting list that they still refuse to engage with striking workers. They're not even sitting down to talk to them. So yes, public sector strikes will be politically timed because to do otherwise would be to go on strike for absolutely no purpose. The Conservatives are already causing way more productivity loss than all the strikes put together, so that doesn't work. The only thing that works is visibility with the public, which is why it was a bit of a bugger that lots of other things happened in the news this week. You would think that after all the anti-strike legislation that the Tories have been enacting and all the strikes that they've been contending with, that they would have at least worked out what a strike actually is by now. Still, you'd have thought that after years of Brexit, some Tory MPs would have realised what being a third country means as well. Seems that they're just not for learning lessons. Doesn't say much for the private education their parents shelled out for when it turns out people incapable of learning. And why does it matter if a cabinet minister doesn't understand what a strike is for? Because it means that strikes are more likely to happen, and when they do happen, be prolonged. Just like we've been seeing over the past year or so. But there we are. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Hope you found the video interesting. If you did, please click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, the join button for memberships. And until next time, I'll see you later.